in my last video, I kind of watched the Rings of Power trailer, but I'd watched that maybe 4 or 5 times before I made my video. Partly because I messed up making my video. I had the audio all messed up and just amateur mistakes. Anyways, I'm gonna watch the House of the Dragon trailer now. HBO released the House of the Dragon Season 2 trailer an hour after Amazon released the Rings of Power trailer. It's like they saw the Amazon tweet yesterday and they were like, yep, let's give them hell. And hey, that's fitting for a show that's about brutal, vicious rivalries between these houses. So let's watch. I'm gonna watch this trailer. I've not watched it yet. I'll just watch it along with y'all, and we'll see how it is. I probably will forget some of the names. It's been a while since House of the Dragon came out. But, you know, the basic idea here is that you've got Team Green and Team Black, you know, Alicent on one side, Rhaenyra on the other side, the sort of the high tower takeover of the King's Landing and the dispossession of Rhaenyra's claim. And in Season 1, it was sort of left with war brewing. It's about to culminate in this big war. Season 2 should get us into the actual war itself. So let's watch this trailer. All right.
The Targaryen who sits the Iron Throne is not just a king or a queen. They are a protector of the realm.
I have to say real quick, I wonder how far they're going to take Rhaenyra's character. For those of you who've read the book, you know that she, you know, in the show so far she's quite heroic, but in the story itself, she takes some pretty interesting turns.
Now I find myself in an impossible position.
All hail, King Aegon!
The enemy usurped my throne.
We're going to King's Landing. Well, what are we going to do about it?
We must play the board before us.
Proceed cautiously.
Fuck dignity! I want revenge.
Yeah, there's a lot of revenge in this story, and as you remember in the end of Season 1, one of Rhaenyra's boys, her younger boy, was killed by Aemon's dragon. And it was interesting because they portrayed it sort of as an accident. Like, Aemon wasn't actually trying to kill him, he was just kind of trying to chase him, and his giant-ass dragon, whose name I can't remember right now, but took things under its own wing, her own wing.
News spreads through the realm. The great houses will come to our side.
I did not think they would be so eager to die.
My ships sail at your command.
The realm's only hope is in a leader strong enough to unite it.
Do you accept me as your queen and ruler?
A lot of marital strife between, you know, nieces and uncles. You know, another thing I like about this series, and I like that even though I personally lean Team Black, like I'm very much Team Rhaenyra, it's not so simple, right? The sides are even grayer in a lot of ways than in Game of Thrones proper, where the Lannisters are just so obviously wicked and the Starks are so noble. Like here, the different sides of this Targaryen Dance with Dragons civil war are a little more complicated, especially when they start having to make these tough choices and are driven so much by revenge.
This senseless war will end.
Shall none of us prevail?
Not like this.
Alicent holds love for our enemy. That makes her a fool.
Looks like we have some Starks. Starks do enter this story, not as the main characters, but as important characters. And what's this fucking guy's name? Sir Criston Cole. Man, he's a piece of shit.
The enemy without may be fought with swords. The enemy within is more insidious.
Oh, that was Abubakar Salim's character. He's one of the Sea Snakes. He's Alan of Hull, one of the Sea Snakes bastards. Abubakar Salim, of course, from the wonderful show, the wonderful canceled show, Raised by Wolves. Really nice guy, also.
There is more than one way to fight a war.
War is coming, and neither of us may win.
Okay. Yeah. So, that looks fantastic. That's definitely the most epic trailer. That's one of the most epic trailers I've seen for Game of Thrones universe ever. Season 1 was definitely a slow burn. I think a lot of people were turned off to it, both because of the slow burn and because there was a major cast change and time jump about halfway through the first season. This season will pick up right where the first season left off, and there won't be any more significant time jumps. Their time will, I think, push a little faster than in Game of Thrones, but it's all, you know, it's all war from here on out. War and I think, you know, depending on where they take this, I guess probably the aftermath of war. And it's pretty crazy stuff. And honestly, these battles look epic. Like, I love that it's not, I mean, I love the dragon stuff, but if I were to really break it down to what I really, really, really love about Game of Thrones and Westeros and all this is the medieval stuff, the knights charging on horseback, the pitched battles, the sword fighting and all that stuff. I really love that. I would be cool if this was a series without dragons, right? And now without magic, that was just super awesome medieval stuff. But I'm glad there's dragons, and the dragons look awesome in this. I am really looking forward to, I don't think I've made a video about this, but I'm really looking forward to the Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, based on the Dunk and Egg novellas by George R.R. Martin. I think they should have called it The Hedge Knight. I think that's a better title for a series than A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. But I get they're trying to tie it more directly to the Seven Kingdoms and make it more obvious to viewers. But one reason I love those novellas is just that they are so very much all about the chivalry and the knight errantry and just, like, you know, jousting and questing and this, you know, I love that. It's a little less epic. There's no dragons. There's very little there's really no magic. There's a lot less of this sort of epic warfare and a lot more sort of zoomed in on the adventures of Dunk and Egg. And that I love, and I'm really excited for that. And the casting so far, the casting choices seem really on point. But on the other side of things, I like House of the Dragon because it's this civil war. It's less focused on sort of these, you know, the big world-ending stuff that Game of Thrones focuses on with the walkers and the wall and this, you know, the long night and all that. I liked that stuff. Don't get me wrong. I liked this existential threat that the walkers represented. The problem, of course, with Game of Thrones is that they ultimately ended up being bullshit. And, you know, hopefully the books do it better if the books are ever written. But all that sort of epic, apocalyptic, like, oh, there's going to be this massive winter and the walkers are going to come. You know, what I envisioned in my head, of course, was just that somehow the walkers and the army of the dead would get across the wall and that they would go all throughout Westeros, and there would be this. I still maintain that season 8, you know, should have been, you know, the should have been when the Night King and everyone invaded, and like really season 8 and 9 should have been all about the struggle between the living and the dead. And this long winter, you know, and the desperation that everyone finds themselves in. And then Daenerys turns evil through her, you know, the choices she has to make and everything. And then we have another season where Daenerys is like this tyrant queen, and Jon and everyone else has to kind of have this rebellion against her. And that's the next war. You could have had 10, 11, 12 seasons of amazing stuff. But at least here in House of the Dragon, it looks like we're going to get some really awesome battles and dragon fights and betrayal and revenge and romance and marital strife. So That was a great trailer. That really, as one commenter said in my last video, I have to watch this trailer as a palate cleanser to the Rings of Power trailer. And yes, it did the trick. I'm super stoked for June 16th. Just in time for my birthday. A nice little gift from HBO. Although I think HBO doesn't like me so much anymore. I'm not sure that they're going to send me screeners for this. Even though I reviewed season 1 quite positively, they're not happy with me. I'm sure they're not happy with me about my Night Country reviews, which were a little harsh. Night Country and Rings of Power are just the 2 greatest shows ever made. Ever. Anyways, all right, thanks. I'll stop rambling. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave a comment. Let me know what you thought of this trailer and what you're hoping for in this season. And thanks for watching. Peace.